online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your #1 source in after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Well, welcome everybody to another AFTERBUZZ TV after show for your new favorite show, The Intruders. Just Intruders.
Just Intruders. I keep making the same mistake whenever I tell them. I'm like, I'm doing The Intruders show. No, it's Intruders.
Intruders. Hashtag Intruders. Anyway, I'm your host for the evening, Anna Koppel, and sitting next to me is my orphan black co-host and real-life friend.
Look at that.
Will Lenk.
How's it going?
Yeah.
It's good to be doing another show with you.
I know, I'm so excited.
I'm enjoying the smooth jazz.
The smooth jazz.
This is something I usually just do in private, but listen to this.
Listen, we don't need to know about your personal life. So we just, overall first impressions.
This is a very interesting show. It's also a show that's clearly going to play its cards close to its chest, I think, for a while. Like, this episode felt like a slow burn of an episode. I feel like it was introducing a lot of ideas out there that I'm assuming in the following weeks will be paying off. But I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued.
There's a lot of unpacking,
yes.
I feel. And as it was doing that, folks, as you're following along with this after shows, we're trying to figure it out ourselves. We noticed some themes, and maybe you did too. And those were birthdays, fire,
yeah,
the number 9. Overall death.
Yes.
Death by bathtubs.
Yes.
And dilated pupils. So as we talk about it and as it comes up, maybe play a drinking game. Or not, because we don't want to be responsible for
every time someone's pupils go dilated, you take a shot.
Take a shot, yeah.
You know, it's funny you bring up death, and the show is, the showrunner is Glenn Morgan, who worked on the X-Files, and he also does the Final Destination movies. So he is clearly death obsessed. There's a death obsession that he must have.
He worked on the X-Files, and did you notice the little X-Files shout out?
There was a great towards the end of the episode when Shepard goes to Oz's little conspiracy theory home there. He says, "What? No, I want to believe." Poster.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice little touch. So there's also Bill Anderson keeps showing up, so we want to everybody pay attention. So this is just for you to be following along, folks, as we're sort of figuring this out ourselves.
Bill Anderson, a acoustic engineering professor.
Yes. What does an acoustic engineering professor do?
Well, apparently he knows a lot about pipe organs in Europe.
And was it the Vatican?
He said cathedrals in Europe, so.
It's gotta be. Yes. Yeah. An interesting profession.
Yes. One that I would not necessarily venture into.
Yeah, I don't know how one gets into that profession or interested in.
But I'm excited to be doing this show. Another BBC America show for us. And I like the idea of a show about people. Because kind of like Glenn Morgan, I have a little death. Like, I have a massive fear of death. So a show about immortality interests me. And the idea of people pursuing immortality very much interests me. Although I don't know necessarily the mechanics of how they're going about it just yet.
I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out
as we go. Okay, so we start out in Barstow in 1990.
Yes.
And it's Donna's birthday. Donna, not Donna.
Yeah.
So it's her birthday. They have some flickering, and this is one of the two of the themes: birthdays and fire. They're very close on the flickering candles.
You know, it's seeing the opening shot was like them pushing in on her, getting ready to blow out her birthday candles or whatever. And, you know, a birthday could be kind of creepy when shot the right way, because they're coming in and, like you said, the fire's glowing into her face, and it set a real mood right away for the show.
Well, and I think I don't think I'm alone in that, you know, every year, every time it's my birthday, you know, you think about your mortality. It's another year. I'm another year older. What am I doing this year? What did I do last year? Oh my God, I'm going to die soon. You know, am I alone in this?
No. I mean, it's the older I get, the more I think of these things.
Sure.
The more I think, what am I doing with my life? And what Donna was doing with her life that night.
Well, what Donna was doing with her life that night is she was looking at her yearbook and looking specifically at Gary Fisher.
Gary Fisher. Also, Jack was also in. Jack Whelan was in that photo, too.
Oh.
Yeah. So two of our main male leads. They look like they were the high school football stars or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Were either of them number 9? Did you notice?
I did not notice.
One was 18.
That's something to go back and look for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely. This is one of those shows you have to watch several times to catch everything, which I like. I like that, some layering there. So then, a couple of gentlemen, shall we say, visit her in the night. And
those gentlemen, one is James Frain, regular on this show. He's playing the character Richard Shepard. And the other one was played by Robert Forster, who's the great character actor. He was nominated for an Oscar for Jackie Brown. He was in the last season of Breaking Bad in a great episode. So, we only saw him in this scene in this episode, but I got to imagine you cast a recognizable face, that character will be coming back.
Does it say on IMDb what his character name is?
It says that his name is also Shepard, Frank Shepard. Now, at first I thought maybe these two men are related because I saw that in the thing. Maybe it's a father-son. Maybe he's teaching him the business of this. But then I think what they said to Donna, because they come in and they kind of assault her, basically. And Robert Forster's character says, it's a secret you gave us. We're here to give it back to you. Just as you asked all those years ago, we're just here to shepherd you. And then I started thinking maybe shepherd is not even their name. Maybe that's their job. Maybe they're just using the last name as their job. Yeah,
and that's what I think too. And I have a theory that he's Bill Anderson.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
I have a theory that he's the soul trapped in the young girl.
That he's Marcus?
That he's Madison.
No, she's Madison. The little girl is Madison.
Oh, he's Marcus? Marcus is the soul trapped in the girl?
In Madison, yeah.
Well, then my theory's all...
Your theory's all screwy now? I don't... No. That would be... You just have the names wrong, that's all.
Maybe.
All right, so anyway, so they shepherd her, and she's puking, and she's going through some sort of reverse exorcism.
Yeah, and at first I wasn't sure whether what they were doing was... I wasn't sure whether what they were doing... Well, I wasn't sure if they were hurting her or helping her, in fact, because maybe there's a need to get this out of her. Until the next morning she wakes up on the lawn, and then she writes a note and promptly kills herself.
She writes a note, and what we see of the note is, in the beginning there was death. And she signs it, I am not Donna.
Yes.
Underscore not.
So, are we to believe that, for lack of a better thing to call her, that Donna was the person she was, or that Donna was the soul inside her?
I'm assuming that she was Donna, that it was Donna's birthday.
That was Donna's body.
Right.
So the soul is the one that was killing themselves, not... being shepherded out.
Right. So it was not Donna killing herself.
Okay.
It was the soul that was killing the body.
And the note was addressed to Gary Fisher, who she was looking at in the yearbook, who I imagine she went to high school with.
Right.
Yes.
Agreed on all those points.
Okay.
Okay. So so this is our first, death by tub, and in the beginning there was death. And in the end, there was death for Donna, even though it was not Donna.
It was handled... I thought that death was actually handled pretty well, because I kind of assumed she was going to kill herself when she's getting in the tub.
Once you start writing a note, once anybody starts writing a note, I think, nobody corresponds.
But you know what? The other thing is she was given a bus ticket also.
A plane ticket
to Seattle.
A bus to Seattle? That's right.
Plane bus, either way, was to Seattle.
Right, with the number 9.
With the number 9. So... part of me was wondering, well, maybe is that where the soul has to travel to next?
Now, Seattle is like one of the main players here, I feel. Seattle is almost a character in the show.
Yeah, I'm assuming we're going to spend a lot more time in that fine city that I've never been to.
Will. But before we get there, folks, this network is completely for you, and we appreciate your support so much. And the way you can maybe show your support a little bit extra is by commenting on iTunes and on YouTube. And the more you comment, especially because Intruders is a new show, so we need to know what you think. It's imperative.
Clearly, we need to know what you think.
Because we're confused.
We're learning along with you, which is exciting to me, and I hope that the people post a lot of comments and stuff, because I really, this show in particular, I really want to bring them into the discussion.
I really do too. But the more you comment on iTunes and YouTube, the longer the lights stay on at AFTERBUZZ. So
that's even better.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
it works in two ways. You get involved, and
it's amazing. Yeah. So thank you. So we move on to Seattle.
Yes, to present day Seattle.
Present day Seattle. Thank you. And what turns out to be the Anderson household.
Yes.
And the James Frayne character pounds on the door.
Shepard.
And introduces himself as Special Agent Shepard.
Yes.
FBI. So this wasn't lost on me, because Shepard, you're saying Shepard in and out of, maybe he's the good shepherd. I don't know yet. But nevertheless, he's asking for William Anderson and is sort of rather aggressive.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised she let him in.
Right. And maybe they're like vampires that
they have to be let in. You're just saying he played a vampire once. So he on True Blood. So there you go.
I was not aware of that.
There you go.
He played an angry magician on Law and Order Criminal Intent.
I need to see that episode.
It's a great
I need to see an angry magician episode. But so anyway, yeah, he kind of works his way into the house, and then immediately, you're right, he gets really aggressive. He ends up shooting the wife, Anderson's wife, Judy
Anderson. And the son calls, and the other thing that wasn't lousy, he calls 911. He says there's an intruder in the house.
Yeah, name check. The titular phrase of the line of the show.
Yeah. So then he kills the wife, kills the son.
Very coldly.
Yeah.
Very cold.
Doesn't give it another thought.
Yeah. And then he sets the house on fire.
More fire.
Birthday candles, now this. Now he's setting the place ablaze. And he went down to the basement, and I believe later Oz, the conspiracy theorist guy, talks about Bill was working on project. I think he even referenced his basement. So he went down there particularly to start this fire. So I feel like whatever was down there, he wanted destroyed no matter what.
Now, is it a cleansing by fire, or is it destruction of fire?
I don't think it's destruction, because he clearly doesn't want the work of Bill Anderson to get out there. He clearly needs to stop this at all cost for whatever reason. I mean, at this point, granted his actions are extremely violent, but maybe there's good reason that this work can't get out there.
Maybe, because maybe it'll just set the Earth, the whole universe, off of its...
there's a delicate balance between life and death, and maybe we shouldn't be messing with it.
Did I get this from True Detective, that you're experiencing that time is a flat circle?
Time is a flat circle.
Right, but so that you're experiencing your life and death at the same, your birth and your death at the same. Is that from True Detective?
I remember the time is a flat circle from True Detective. The birth and the death makes sense. That sounds like something from True Detective.
All right. Anyway.
Now, where is Bill is my question. Because here he clearly knows that there are people out to get him. There's clearly a paranoia about that house. But he leaves his wife and son there. You figure he probably he's got to either they don't know where he was legitimately, or he's got to have a damn good reason for leaving them, because clearly he left them at the mercy of Shepard. Well,
but see, here's the thing, is that when he says to Judy, the wife, now, if he's in there and you know where he is, you're hiding him, whatever it is he says, you'll both be in a bit of trouble. And she lets him in. So he's got to be, hiding in the house or something. And there's a reason why she lets him in. He says something sort of threatening to her. And she doesn't want to be in trouble herself. But then once he's in, she says, I have no idea where he is.
Are we overthinking it and think that she legitimately thought, I have to let FBI in and he's FBI?
maybe.
I mean, it could be. I mean, it could be as simple as that. But this show, it seems like nothing is going to be that simple in this show.
Right. And so, because see, the other thing, I don't mean to skip ahead too much, but Gary Fisher later knocks on the door and says he's FBI.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting, too, because it felt like he was just maybe making a joke.
Yeah, totally.
But
maybe it stands for full body intruder.
I like that idea.
Okay.
So Bill is somewhere. We don't know where Bill is.
We don't know where Bill is. But the other thing that happens in Seattle is Amy takes her business trip there. But we'll get back to that. Let's go to Birch Crossing, Washington, which is where Jack and Amy Whelan live.
Jack, who seems like he is going to be our hero protagonist of the show.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He wrote a book called Afterlife.
Yeah, which was about essays and crime scene photos from his days as a cop.
Yes.
Yeah. Cop in Los Angeles.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later, it's mentioned.
Okay.
It was LAPD.
So he's now retired? Is that the deal? And he's an author now?
Well, also, not to jump too far ahead, when he talks to Gary, his old high school football buddy, Gary alludes to an incident because he says something like, Jack says something like, I would have never made detective. He's like, yeah, not after your incident. And he's like, whoa. Like, it's one of those
Looking
things.
into my file, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that admittedly, it's blatant exposition. Like, we just have to get this out there that you know this. And again, clearly, as we learn more about Jack, this will come into play, I'm sure. But for some reason, he had to leave the force, and I guess he wrote this book, and now he's trying to live a quiet life in Seattle with Amy.
Birch Crossing.
Birch Crossing, near Seattle.
Yeah.
But he, immediately you also know there's something off about that. Their marriage is clearly going through some problems. We don't necessarily know what or why, but there's a stagnancy to it. They don't seem like the happiest couple. It seems like he's trying. When it's her birthday, he's got that trip to Paris he wants to plan. It seems like he feels a need to re-energize something in this marriage.
Well, that's something else that I wanted to point out about themes maybe in the birthdays. It's like the making of the wish, because Madison sort of stops short of making a wish and blowing out that candle, which maybe changes anyway. So it's her birthday. She hates her birthday.
Yeah.
There's more with the close up of the candles.
Well, were you about to? You were painting such a picture. I apologize for interrupting.
No, that's okay. And then she's dancing by fire. Again, there's fire.
Yes. What I was going to say with the birthday, what's interesting to me, because clearly the birthday is a marking point of either the soul within these people that's kind of hiding in their bodies or snatching their bodies. Clearly, the birthday is an awakening of it in some manner or something, because we see 3 birthdays and then we see 3 incidents where either like the dilated pupils or they have visitors or there's a change in the people after their birthdays. And I wonder how much Amy knows about what's going on inside of her, and maybe that's one of the reasons why she does not like birthdays. Like, maybe she's awaiting every birthday for some horrible thing to happen to her. Whether she's completely aware or it's just a feeling she has inside of her, I don't know. But clearly that to me seems why she doesn't like birthdays.
Well, she clearly knows something because her fire dances are private, and whether or not do we think she's exchanging these text messages? Because Jack ends up finding. Am I skipping ahead too much?
You're skipping ahead, but I don't mind.
but I don't mind. Okay. Well, what else do we have to say about this before?
Well, you were talking about her fire dancing to the
Yeah.
jazz music, and that was another thing, because he makes a point like, oh, you never liked jazz, and
Right.
she seems to really be really into the music. And again, I feel like I'm and maybe I'm saying something obvious, and maybe I just have to talk it out because everything's so new. But the whatever soul is inside her, I'm assuming, is the one who loves jazz music, and this is signs we're starting to see it come out.
Right.
I mean, like I said, it's probably obvious, but
there it is.
there it is.
Okay, so he sends her off the next morning, and she's like, "Don't call the office." I'm playing my jazz music all the way to Seattle.
Yeah. She's playing. Okay, I have a question actually about this. She says not to call the office, but she wasn't going to, she was going on a business trip. That was the thing? Because that, I guess, wasn't clear to me.
Well, it had to be a trip because she's staying at a hotel.
But I guess that wasn't clear to me, too. Like, she's been gone 2 days. She leaves, and she's gone 2 days. And then he's like, I know where she is. And then he tries calling the hotel. And I wasn't sure whether he knew she was going there for a business trip or there's some other reason he knew she would be there. Because when she left that day, it just seemed like she was going to work. Like, don't call the office. And then they never specifically said she was on a business trip. So I guess I was a little lost on that aspect.
Well, maybe, and now I'm just speculating here, but that's what we do here.
That's why we have this show.
Exactly. That maybe because Seattle is close and far enough, she does a lot of telecommuting, and then sometimes she'll just go into the city for a few days at a time.
Oh, okay.
Why not?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That works for me.
Okay, great.
Okay, so her birthday, next day she goes off.
Okay, and she's like, so to me, I'm thinking that she's having an affair. That was my.
Oh, that was your first thing. Okay.
Yeah, and
with a jazz musician.
Yes, that's my time. That's always my first thought.
That's why she's into the jazz
falling in love with
thing.
a jazz musician. Yeah,
They're stealing all our women, those jazz musicians.
That's like a plague. So.
Oh, look at that! There we go. See, look,
well
they're
done.
coming right now.
Well placed.
I don't know how you're gonna. I don't know how you're gonna control yourself.
Yeah, I know. I was just gonna say, I'm starting to. It's a warm sensation in my heart. So he's just finding it strange. He's not hearing from her. He's been calling her. What's going on?
And before that, that's when Gary does visit. He visits like shortly after she leaves.
Gary Fisher.
Gary Fisher.
Who saw him at the bookstore and said nothing.
Yeah. Well, it seemed like they were both like kind of tailing each other in a weird way. Like because Jack saw Gary. Gary obviously must have seen Jack.
Because otherwise he wouldn't just be standing at that bookstore looking at his own book.
Well, I would stare at my own book in a window.
Yeah, but he might have gone inside to whatever. I don't know. But Gary's inside of that store. So it's not a coincidence that he's just like hanging out there. He could have been with Amy. He could have a lot of things.
But there's a reason Gary needs to talk to Jack without Amy there.
Right.
He doesn't want her there. Gary clearly has been investigating something. Probably since the death of Donna, I'd imagine, or not Donna.
But this is not Donna. But this makes me think that because he introduces himself as FBI and because he says it's not safe to talk at the house, and because he wants Amy gone, this makes me think that he may be an intruder himself or that he may be one of the shepherds himself.
Or maybe he's one of the shepherds, but not maybe he's a double
training.
Like a double agent, maybe.
Maybe
he became a shepherd to find out the truth about what happened to Donna, not Donna.
Yeah.
You know?
In the beginning, there was death.
And
now there's Gary Fisher.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'll be the new slogan for the show.
Yeah. It's in the Bible. Look for it, guys. Yeah. So.
Yeah, they go out to the woods. They have that big conversation.
And also, just because places seem to mean something, the last Jack knew of him, he was in Evanston, Illinois. So
I'm assuming
we're gonna need a map for the show.
I'm assuming they haven't seen each other in forever. And now he wants Jack clearly to investigate this case of Bill Anderson's family's death. He's coming to him about this. So clearly whatever he needs to find out can't be found out by normal police means. He needs somebody who's not on the case to be on the case.
Right.
So
the other person investigating Bill Anderson's death is Professor Purdue.
Yes.
Over in Reno.
Yes.
And he has a creepy little podcast that he does from his trailer. Is it a trailer?
He seems to be in a he seems to have a mobile home kind of unit, and then he's also got his trailer because he seems to be somewhere under a bridge at the beginning broadcasting, and then later he goes home to a trailer.
He just but I think he likes to move around. He seems a little
Yeah.
paranoid.
He's, again, very much in an X-Files spirit of like the lone gunman from the X-Files. I mean, he's the typical conspiracy theory nut who's probably right because this is a show by Glenn Morgan.
So, but his sort of sign-off line is "Fear no one, be loud."
Yes. Get the word out there.
But does "be loud" have to do with the organ sort of?
I don't think so. I think it's just kind of a, you know, if you know what's going on, if you know the truth, like they might not listen to you, but don't fear them. Just get your message out there. That's the way I took it.
What? Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just organizing my notes here, folks. Well, Shepard ends up finding him.
Yes. He finds him over the radio first.
Which freaks him out because he what is it that he did to scramble his radio signal? That he was doing it through a cell phone or something?
Something like that. Some tech jargon
that I just have no idea about. Yeah. And not only does Shepard contact him, but he knows his real name, and that double freaks him out.
Yeah.
So he asks to meet. He's like, "We need to talk." Shepard's like, "We need to talk." And Professor Purdue, a.k.a. Oz Turner, is like, "No, we don't." He's like, "We do. It's about Bill Anderson." So does he say it's about Bill Anderson then, or is he like about them? In either case.
I thought he said Anderson, but yeah.
They get to meet, and it's like, "What do you know?"
And it's a very one-sided conversation. Oz does most of the talking.
And how does he do most of the talking? I feel like Shepard has, like, maybe he has hypnosis of the eyes or voice or something. Maybe he does through his vocal cords. That he gets people to open doors and just, like, tell them everything.
Because a lot of people, because again, later in the episode, Oz knows he shouldn't open that door and let Shepard in. He knows it in his gut.
But his whole thing is fear no one and be loud.
And he also has like a double-barrel shotgun
that he thinks he's going to be able to control. But this is where we get to know that Oz has met Bill Anderson in Seattle.
Yes.
And if we could only hear these lower frequencies, we could learn to never die.
Yeah, this is where we learn about the work. I guess what is his job again? Acoustic engineering skills has taught him that there are these sounds that come out so low from organs and cathedrals in Europe, and if we could hear them, like, what are they saying to us? If humans could hear it, and the answer is how not to die.
Do you have any thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, clearly it's a secret that Shepard is trying to keep. Whether he even knows... Again, I'm not sure whether it's that he knows the secret of not how to die, or he's just trying to keep the universe in some sort of balance.
Does he seem like a good guy or a bad guy to you? Just straight up.
He seems like a bad guy because he's going around killing people. But... you know, shows have a way of turning characters you think are bad to turn out to actually be good.
I think he's a good guy.
Okay.
I think he's a good guy because of a scene with Madison / Marcus, which we'll get into in a second.
I have a lot to say about that one.
Okay. So we'll get to that. So anyway, he ends up killing Oz, and that's the end of that chapter.
I guess Oz should have been a little more scared of them.
Yes.
It did not work out too well for him.
But you know what did work out for him is, you know, he spent his life as a conspiracy theorist, and he dedicated a whole podcast like, folks, you should know. So he got to at least know that he was right.
Now, these signals, these low signals that have these answers, do they only... I mean, do you think they're going to be something that can only come from these cathedral pipes, or are they somewhere else out there floating, other sound waves that are out there somewhere in the world?
Oh, they have to be other sound waves. They absolutely have to be other sound waves. Now, beyond that, I have no idea. It makes very little sense to me how if we could just like hear lower frequencies, that equals, you know, living forever.
Or at least knowing the secret. I gotta hear these. I gotta hear these sound waves.
Yeah, I gotta get my hearing checked in general.
But these sound waves. Because I also wondered if it is something just from Cathedral, what the religious implications of the show might end up being at some point. Does the church know the answer to immortality, or is it just this cult of people? And
Yeah, it's Jesus, isn't it?
Well, I guess, the immortality here on Earth, I guess, or whatever. But or if it's this sect, if it has anything to do with any major religion, if it has anything to do with that, or if it's just this weird cult of people. I mean, these are all things that we'll find out as the series goes on, or not. Who knows? We'll see. Time will tell. Did you have more to say about the? I don't. I was gonna say you would. I was starting to hear because I semi cut you off when we were talking about the text messages earlier. Right. So So meanwhile, Jack is looking for Amy. Somebody calls to say that a cabbie calls to say that he has found a phone. It's Amy's phone. Drop it off at the hotel. Picks it up at the hotel, and he calls her office. Yeah. And asks to speak to Amy, and they say, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Crane is in a meeting." He's like, "Well, that's great, but I'd like to speak to Amy Whelan." They're like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Crane isn't available." Yeah. Very strange. Really, really weird. Because even if, let's say there was a soul in her that was Mr. Crane, let's just say that. I don't think that's the case at all, but let's just say that. The people at the office know it's Amy, a woman, not Mr. Crane. So like But the name of the company was like something Crane and something. Yes. So maybe she has another life. I don't know. There's another interesting thing that happened before that. I think it happened right after he got the call from the cab driver. He checked her computer. And her whole calendar. After her birthday, there was nothing scheduled. Tons of things scheduled up until her birthday. After that, so she knew she was leaving. She knew something was going to happen. She knew whatever soul was in charge at that point knew she was going out of town. And then her computer stops working. So she's, very mysteriously. Yeah, faulty electronics in Amy Whelan's life. So he's going through the phone, and there are these bizarre texts. Time is of the essence. It must wait until we must wait until he's dead, it says. Right. And we can wait no longer. Or this can't wait any longer. And they're all from unknown numbers. And when the phone starts working and he calls only to hear jazz music. Yeah. Yeah. Very strange. Very strange. And that phone stopped working too. Yeah. Faulty electronics. The souls are able to... I'm very hung up on these souls are doing lots of crazy things. And I feel they have to be the thing, whatever it is out there that's moving from host to host or body to body has to be the thing that's also able to shut down a computer, shut down a phone. Yeah. I feel like there's a battle going on. I feel like there's some war going on, and possibly between, if Shepard's a good guy, Shepard and these souls out there. Maybe it's just the low frequencies that are shutting off the electron. Because sometimes you're like trying to leave a voicemail for somebody, and you're just talking, and then it'll just say like message erased. Yeah. Yeah. Just start again. I hate that. It's the worst. So maybe it's the low frequency. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe it's all. Every time my phone craps out or my computer craps out, I'm going to assume that my soul's done for. Yeah. I'm like, this is it. Start panicking. This is it. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, there are all these weird text messages. Do you think they are coming from anyone we've met yet? Do you think they're possibly coming from any communication with someone like Shepard, or do you think it's probably just a player we're going to see down the line? Maybe even a Bill Anderson. Who knows? I think it is possible. I think it has to be somebody like a Shepard, and maybe one of the Shepards we've met, and that's it. I can't speculate too far into that one. But let's head over into Findlay, Oregon. Which this was, I think, my favorite stuff in the show. Shooting children in the face is like what Will Lenk is into. I know this. It's true. Real life friend Will Lenk. I have a long history of talking about that constantly. Yeah. One of the reasons I liked it, I thought the girl, and I'm still making sure I learn all these character names. Millie Brown, who played Madison. I thought she was really good, actually.
Yes,
I
agree.
thought she was a really good child actress. Did some really, because she was really good at turning it on from like precocious and adorable to crazy and terrifying with like in a snap. So I think that's why this was some of my favorite stuff in the episode. Also, it was some of the, I think it also raised a lot of questions that interest me.
Well, it's her 9th birthday, the number 9, a number 9 candle. So we have a lot of things coming together here. We have the number 9, we have fire, we have birthday, all in one with Madison. So
Yeah.
so I found that interesting. But she does not make a wish and blow out the candle. She
runs out the door.
She runs out the door.
Clearly, comes from a, for lack of a better word, I guess, broken home. Like there's something wrong with the relationship with her mother and father and her
Right.
relationship with her father.
Right. So she goes out onto the beach, and there's Shepard holding up a sand dollar.
Yeah.
And when she sees it, she whispers, she like looks away and she whispers, no. So she knows already. So there's already...
Does she know, or does whatever's inside her know, and it's just like an instinct?
Oh, it's whatever's inside.
Is there a difference? This is where it's going to get tricky to talk about this show, I think, because like, are we referring like?
I need there to be a difference because I have instincts about bad things happening in the world, and I can't start questioning like that there are other souls inside of me.
That's what it's been all along. Huh? Every bad thing that's happened, it's just another soul going on inside of you.
Right? Yeah, I can't. It's got to be instinct. I'm not sure.
So the sand dollar.
Sand dollar.
Which he doesn't give her. He leaves it for her.
Right.
And she becomes very preoccupied with that sand dollar.
And the sand dollar's in the opening credits.
Yes.
So the sand dollar is important somehow. What do we know about sand dollars? Anything?
I should have done a Wikipedia search of sand dollars before coming on here. I didn't think of it, but actually that's a great idea. I know nothing of sand dollars other than I've seen them on the
when you
beach.
like open them, there's like the little sort of butterfly looking things. There's something inside of them that are also beautiful. So maybe that's
Something inside.
Yeah.
The beautiful soul inside. Although I don't know if the soul inside of her is very beautiful, but
I am not sure about that either. But anyway, so we also have like a scene where Madison's mom is lighting a cigarette, and then Madison is upstairs, sort of like having that struggle sleep.
yeah.
So I don't know if maybe they're just using fire to like show that something's about to happen, or they're just using it to switch between scenes, or I don't know. But it shows up a lot. Anyway, she sees Shepard again on the beach, and he gives her a number 9 card, one of the 9 cards, and he says, 9 years goes fast, eh, Marcus?
Yeah, okay, that's why, yeah.
And then goes to shoot her. And she's like, I'm just a kid. I'm Madison. I don't know who Marcus is. And starts crying for her mom.
Now, he is about to shoot her, then he hesitates and doesn't. Now, do you think he's having difficulty with the idea of killing a child, or do you think it has something to do with his relationship with Marcus, the soul inside of her?
So here's why, this is what I was going to say earlier, why I think Shepard's a good guy. I 100% think Marcus is already in this little girl.
Yes.
And I think Marcus is a bad guy. And Shepard's, going to kill him, or like on a mission, or was sent to kill him, whatever. But he's having trouble shooting a little girl. And I think Marcus knows this about him. And so he's like, I'm just a little kid. I'm just mommy. So I think he's sort of playing to that. And that's when Shepard hesitates and doesn't end up shooting her.
So is Marcus in control of her the whole time?
I think it gets activated every 9 years. I don't know.
Well, okay, so the idea of these people, and this isn't blatant in this. This is more just from my description of knowledge of the show, like finding out what it's about, is that they're searching for immortality by moving their souls in between bodies or moving within bodies. So is that just is maybe all you get is 9 years? Is that what the 9 is all about? You get 9 years in each host or life or body, and he happened to have lived 9 years as a little girl, and now his time is up. Because later she says he was brought back too early.
Yeah, you brought me back too soon.
And is that... So, which also makes me feel like Marcus wasn't aware of what was happening for the 9 years. It has to be activated at some point because it was brought back.
Right, because at some point after she's having these dreams, sort of like flashbacks, maybe of murdering somebody, it looks strangling somebody.
Yes.
Okay, so
or being strangled.
It looked like it was the POV of strangling. So after all of that is happening, it looks like, it looks like she's checking out her body for the first time, like, can we work with this?
Yeah.
And decides, perhaps, that she can. Sets up a bath. Yeah. And I think, oh,
ominous.
Man. Oh man, is this little girl gonna slit her wrist? Oh,
that's entertainment, people.
And she starts writing a note. But what was interesting, she ends up killing a cat who has 9 lives.
Loopy was the cat's name. And see, this is where I get confused with the Madison Marcus who's in control, because when Loopy the cat shows up, it's very, like, it felt very genuine, little girl, happy to see her cat, playful, and then it just, like, something snaps, and she drowns that cat.
Well, now I wonder, was there a potential to send some soul into that cat? Send perhaps Madison's soul into that cat so he could drown Madison and Marcus can take over. Is that what happened?
No, because then there's this real regret of what happened afterwards.
Right. What have I done? What have I done?
So you're saying it was a failed attempt at something?
No. That Marcus is now completely in Madison's body.
But then why would Marcus be so upset about the dead cat? Wouldn't Madison be the one who's upset about the dead cat? Did
it say, oh, I killed Loopy? Or was it just like, what have I done? What have I done? Regret about killing something? Because maybe it was like pushing the soul into the cat, and now like Madison's soul is in the cat, and then he killed Matt. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying. I actually do. You're saying that Marcus Marcus is having regret about what it did to maybe Madison's soul, pushing it into the cat.
And then killing her.
I also realize this is going to be, and people are going to have to bear with, this is going to be a very complicated show of how we talk about the characters. Because it's one of those shows where it seems like everybody has multiple name things going on here.
Yeah, they have like 2 or more souls in their bodies.
So maybe if you also out there know a good way of, maybe we could break this down and talk about it.
That would be super helpful.
Open for suggestions.
Yes.
Because right now I'm calling a character Donna, not Donna. And I don't, and that seems a little odd to me.
Yeah, it just seems not okay. But...
Okay, so that's possible. But see, I think there's a struggle for the soul. I think or for Madison's body. That's what I think it is.
Well, but she also seemed to strangle the cat the same way that the guy in the dream was being strangled.
Well, clearly Marcus is a bad dude, right?
Right.
And clearly Shepard should have killed this little girl.
Obviously.
Okay. So now that started this. That was the biggest scene that made me think that maybe he's not a bad guy. I mean, it's hard to not think of a character as a bad guy who goes in and kills someone's teenage son for really no reason at the beginning of it's hard not to think of that person as a bad guy. But the scene with the little girl made me feel like there's a worse person inside that little girl, and that person's got to go.
Well, and maybe Bill Anderson has like done something to his family so that like there are already bad souls, and that maybe Shepard's. I don't know. I don't know.
But then you had and it's right at the end with the little girl, the line that we'd seen in a lot of the commercials while we were watching Orphan Black. We would always see these commercials, and it's the scary badass little girl calls Shepard and tells him, What goes around comes around.
It sure does. What does that mean?
Madison Marcus isn't happy,
but it's just
and is, I think, going after Shepard.
But it's about being brought back too soon also. So, but don't they want immortality? So why would that be an issue?
The problem fundamentally is we don't understand anything yet.
That is the problem.
That's the problem fundamentally. That's why I said, it's like you said, it's an episode that has a lot of unloading, a lot of it's like an ultimate setup episode.
Yeah.
I heard someone else, I'm not going to take credit, but someone else compared it to the cold opening of a TV show, but the whole episode was a cold opening, and it really does feel that way. And I saw in an interview, Mira Sorvino was saying in the second episode, things are going to get less oblique, but I don't know if I necessarily believe her. By the way, the second episode is already available online. So if you don't want to wait till Saturday, I know I'm not going to wait till next Saturday. You could go check it out there. I think it's on their website on BBC America. I saw it. It was a pop-up on the show last night, said that, and then I saw them tweet about that this morning.
Very cool. Well, Will, for a show that you don't understand, do you have any predictions about what might happen?
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions. AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, there. Let me tell you what. Not really. I know not to mess with this little girl. I wouldn't mess with her. And in the previews for next week, it seems like some TSA agent or somebody's messing with her, and she is not pleased. It doesn't seem good. I actually had a couple more observations though that maybe we can extrapolate some predictions. So first of all, Shepard doesn't age. He looks the exact same age. So, what does that mean? I don't know. But I think, is the people who do this job, this shepherding job, is there something else about them that's not human?
Well, immortality would imply that, no?
Yeah, but I mean, Robert Forster in the beginning's looking old like Robert Forster.
Yeah, but maybe he found it at a certain time.
That's true. That's true.
And maybe he's been doing this for 100
years.
But
I thought immortality was only about these souls jumping around.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that. It's almost like, it's almost like being John Malkovich. How you got to get into Malkovich's head, and that's how they kept going up. Malkovich was the next vessel to go into. It's very similar to being John Malkovich.
Except there are many vessels. What are your other observations?
Well, I'm just the thing that I'm hoping we start to get some answers about is how the possession or body jumping, the mechanics of that. I mean, I doubt we'll get it in the next episode, but that's the thing at this point I am most curious about. I want to know the mechanics of soul jumping to body and moving from body to body. And I also wonder, who does Shepard or the Shepherds answer to? There has to be somebody. There's got to be a home office.
There's got to be.
So who are they answering to? I don't think we're going to get any of those answers in the next episode. But I'm sure in the next 8 weeks we will get some of them.
Well, I'm excited for the next 8 weeks, certainly.
Do you have some predictions?
I really don't have any predictions. I have no idea. I think I've sort of given out everything that I have, which is I think that Shepard's a good guy. I think that Robert Forster's Bill Anderson. I think I've just spilled everything that I have during the episode. So
it's to note that this is based on a book. This show. I have not read the book. I assume you have not read the book.
I haven't.
I'm sure there's some people out there who have read the book and are probably like, oh, those two. Like, they don't even know. And it's right, we don't.
We don't. We have no idea. We watch TV.
Well, I guess it's important to say, obviously, we're taking the show from perspective of people who have not read this book. But what I've read, that basically this season is going to be the book, and then the plan is to go crazy beyond it. So
awesome.
So there you go.
There you go. Will, where can the people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at @TheRealWillLenk. And also, I host a podcast for the Westcast Network called Will Sean Podcast. We discuss a pop culture in a comedic way, and you can find that on iTunes.
Fantastic. And you can follow me at Koppel for Mayor, KOPPELFORMAYOR. You can find me here in a couple of hours hosting Ray Donovan. And you can find both of us here next week at 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time.
With another host, right?
With another host. Bobby DeMuro will be here. Yay, Bobby.
I'm looking forward to working with him.
Yeah, you know, I've worked with him before.
I know.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you next week. Thanks for joining us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.